Welcome to Housing for Good, a podcast dedicated to housing topics and issues affecting our communities in McPherson County and beyond. With years of experience and expertise, hosts Chris Goodson and Karolyn Moore discuss housing challenges and opportunities with other experts from a variety of housing fields.
Good afternoon and welcome to Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn.
And I'm Chris.
Chris, what's our news for today?
Well, we still have the conference coming up on September 26th. We're really excited about that. We have lots of great speakers coming to present about not only development, but also housing stability and what that looks like. So I'm really excited about this year's conference, and I hope you can attend.
It's going to be here so fast. Go to McPhersonHousingCoalition.org, and you can find a place there to find tickets, $25, get your lunch and snacks, basically. So
that's all the news that I have today.
Okay. Well, we're talking with David Case. He's joining us today. He is with the McPherson Omega Project. Well, not McPherson Omega Project, centered in McPherson, Kansas. And this organization has been around for quite a number of years. Tell us about it, David.
That would be 18 years.
Wow.
We started our first house in 2006 and quickly grew to 4 houses. I think within 3 years we were running 4 houses. And then we've spent a lot of years answering one question people kept asking me. So what happens to this if something happens to you? So
yes,
I've spent a lot of years creating curriculum, structure, many different procedures, things that will allow this thing to be hopefully bigger than me. And in fact, with that, we are actually branching out into some other communities. So that's
Aren't
exciting.
you in Bueller?
We are in Bueller currently.
Yeah.
There's actually a program on the East Coast that I Zoom with and interact with and have quite a bit of impact. And we're actually looking at moving. A program in Kingman has asked us to come in and work with them.
Wow, that is so exciting.
That's incredible.
We're at a point of being able to what I would call franchise in terms of we've got our curriculum set up in a much more detailed fashion, obviously procedures, leaders trained, et cetera. So we really are in a very different place than we've been at any point previous to this.
So what's your specific role? What are you, the CEO or are you the mastermind?
Sure,
What
whatever.
What exactly are you?
The title I usually use is founder.
Okay.
The part of why we exist is that we try to push the spiritual side. Mm-hmm. I really believe that gets left out, and to some extent within governmental type of things, it's almost forced out, because if there's any faith component, it's no longer welcome type of a thing. And so I really do feel like that's a major missing piece. And then on top of that, churches in general just don't feel comfortable dealing with the very difficult addiction, recovery, homeless. Frankly, even just homelessness itself creates a kind of an imprint on people that is not easily taken care of. People think, again, this is going to sound bad towards you guys, okay, but think that, okay, if you can just get them in a house, it's going to work. And the reality is, I'm sure you guys know and have seen this with the tiny homes, that no, this is an entire cultural piece that needs transformation. And so it's not as simple as that hand up.
And that's true. I mean, and that's why we have supportive services, and that's what's been the change for our families, is knowing, and we've said this for years, you cannot just put somebody in a house. You have to offer guidance, and you have to offer services, and you have to offer those things that are going to help and wrap that family so that they feel secure within what you're doing. You just can't just put somebody in a house, and we totally get that.
Yeah, that does not work, because like you said, it's a cultural thing, and depending on how long the person's been homeless, depending on how long they've been in active addiction, there's a lot of stuff that you kind of, to use air quotes, have to undo. The way that they've been processing life, the way that they've been moving through, the resources and that kind of stuff. We always say we want them better when they leave us than when they came to us. And so depending on what they're dealing with, you've got stuff to overcome. So how many people do you have in your individual houses? So when you started, you had one.
We had one house.
How many people were you working with?
3 was our original number.
Okay. And I know, I've seen some of your houses. You have larger houses. How many people total are in your program? I've gone to graduations.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's really inspirational. I would encourage anybody to go to a graduation that you sponsor. That was like, wow. I mean, what a life change that you see.
Just the graduates we saw, that wasn't everybody in the program. That was just the graduates. So,
well, to be honest, first of all, our number is 55 is what we consider in our regular working number of people. And then with the expansion to other communities, the number may grow to about 75. But in the McPherson area, we're talking more of that 50-55 range of what we're working with at any point in time. Again, just engaging in people's lives. And again, I knew you guys know that, but a lot of people, when they think of the housing coalition, what they're thinking about is just get them a house, just get them a hand up. And so that's a lot of where we focus. We really take people who are in difficult situations and really have worked to gain an expertise coming alongside, making a difference in people's lives. I know a similar organization that somebody was talking to me. They said they had to go through 5 interviews in order to get in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so, in essence, they take the cream of the crop, and so then they're able to boast, hey, look at our recovery rate.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And what I would say is I basically have one question. It's, are you willing? And that really comes down to we lay out what we believe it would take for them to get better. We've developed an expertise in that. And so then we're probing them, are you willing to do the kinds of things you would need to do to get better? And so that's really our niche in the community. There are other organizations that offer housing. And like I say, you guys have understood this, and you're bringing in professionals and you're coming alongside. But most of those organizations are much more in a zone of, hey, we're a housing and get your expertise elsewhere. And so I think that's one thing that's unique about us. You'd asked, who are you? What are you, founder? I had spent a good 15 years working with people who had deep levels of wounds and what does it take to deal with woundedness and that, and then branched into the recovery area to where hopefully build that expertise to not just wounds in general and brokenness in general, but especially to the recovery community.
So has housing been something that has affected you trying to get housing for your clients? What does that look like? I mean, what do you see for the future? Do you hope to continue to build? Do you want a partner? What does that look like for you for the housing piece? Because that's really important. I mean, we're talking about all these other things, but housing is super important.
I feel like we've reached a level that I'm semi-comfortable with here unless we change services. I've had people, again, one key area that we originally thought we would address and we slowed down on is women with children. So then a different kind of housing that would be able to address that particular piece. Because if they just move out and get their kids back, same thing. Just the support services that are needed and all of the different things. And many times what happens is when they move out, it is that sense of graduation. I'm done now. I should be done. I should be fine. Then it's much more difficult to ask for help on an ongoing basis. And the people who have been the most successful long term are the ones who don't just say, well, I've graduated the program. See you later. They pop back into a meeting. They stay connected with different people, different relationships. I mean, that's really what we teach all the way through, that the way that you're going to get better is draw strength from God. So let's build the God relationship. But the second thing is to connect with quality people who are really going to pour life into you. And so there's programs in the community, the STEPS program, who really works on that. Hey, how do we build quality relationships? And I believe so much in that quality relationship piece. Our interaction with Reuse It and with Save and Share and all of those people are building relationships. If they get this concept of, oh, wow, I graduated, I'm done, that doesn't go well. And so just getting the people to understand I need to be a lifelong learner, I need to be a lifelong connector in order to
and
be
then
successful.
when they are able to reconnect with their children, get their children back in their life, they're healthy, they're whole, and they're not passing on the baggage and the stuff that kids don't have any business having to deal with. It's not their stuff. And I love that part of our job is when we can take somebody who's been in a program and they're living in a house with other adults, they're working on themselves, they're finally ready to graduate, but not only graduate, they're ready then for that next step of moving in someplace, having their kids back in their life, and reunifying that family. It's so wonderful to see. But like you said, they have to stay plugged in. You put up those walls and broke those connections, and look where it got you. So let's not do that again.
One of the things that you talked about with parents with children, you don't give away what you intend to give away.
Yeah.
You give away who you are. And so a lot of times people think of, well, if I just say it this way, if I just do it this way, the kids, what they don't know won't hurt them. You have a lot of that concept. And that's why our core concept that we use in our ministry is the idea of heart change. You will give away who you are. And you can hide it, you can play games with it, you can do all of the different things. But if you've sewn into them in a way that they're a different person when they walk out of there. They may still need connection, they may still need help, but they're a different person. So everything they do with their kids is going to be different. And yes, I love that when you're changing a heritage and you're completely changing the future of not just a person, but usually an entire family.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody today, and they said, we don't understand in McPherson County how fortunate we are to have all these organizations. And not only are we here serving, but we're together. I mean, we all partner together, we work together, we call each other, we help. If this person can't help, we call the other person. I mean, what a great thing that we have in McPherson County, and
well,
it's just
it's
incredible.
So much bigger. The people we're talking with, the people we're helping, it's so much bigger than what one organization can do. I'm not an expert on drug and alcohol addiction and recovery. David is. So we need him helping the folks that have those issues. I'm not a mental health expert. I need those folks to come alongside us and to work with our folks. And I'm great to house them, and I can work with them on getting a job and plug them into these resources, but I'm not an expert. And that's, I think, what people, they think, outside folks that don't really know what we do, they think, oh, well, you're just taking care of everything they need. Nope. It's a group. It's a community.
We have about 40 partners, we figured, throughout McPherson County that do different things for us. We have MOUs, we have
and David even mentioned reuse it and save and share, because I've seen people that are living in your homes volunteering out there and establishing relationships, again, like you said, with people in the community. And I love that. I just love it when we can all kind of come together and work. Well, David, you got any final thoughts about your program? Chris always asks me this. Did you ever think when you started working here that you would be doing this or that or whatever? And I have this list called Never Did I Ever. And I never knew how much stuff was on there, Never Have I Ever Done, that I've now done. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
If you could have looked at this when you started to see where it is now, did you have that big picture concept?
I didn't. I had people asking me, I'm going to actually say almost begging me, will you start a halfway house? I didn't start with any grand vision design. It was just start with a halfway house. And then if we're going to do this, let's do it right. So then we begin to add more teaching, more training. And it blew up, not in a bad way, but in a good way. I had no clue, and I was about 5 years in when people began asking me, so what happens to this if something happens to you?
Yeah.
And somewhere in there, I had to make a decision of, do I go ahead and frankly, this sounds dramatic, but do I go ahead and close these things down now? Or do I, how can we change the structure? What can we do to where this can be effective? And yes, it's grown into something beyond anything I could have ever imagined. The magnitude, the coursework, the lives impacted, and frankly now potentially being able to take that expertise into other communities and other places. It's really pretty mind-boggling what is happening.
And you probably, if you would have seen it all, it might have been terrifying.
I will tell you, when we first purchased...
That's how we feel regularly. If you had showed us this, we would have ran the other direction.
Well, when we were getting ready to do the Women's Center, and I had a couple people say, hey, you need to buy that building, and my first reaction was like, yeah, right, and frankly, it actually sold once, and then it went back on the sale and came back on the market, and so it wasn't until the second time around that I was like, I was walking by it for a May Day parade. And it's like I just sensed God speaking, and so I just very reluctantly followed through on that. And I can remember sitting down in like the second pew in that building and just having this sinking feeling of it's just like, oh.
What have I done?
Do you know what it would take to take this on? This is like insane. There is no way I can or should do this, or we can or should do this. And yeah, I can remember just being overwhelmed by that one piece. And now, of course, you look back at it and that's completed and the entire grounds are different. And it's just... It's amazing what's happened.
It is amazing.
So I love it that you have the opportunity to go into other communities. Chris and I have been kind of experiencing that. People are like, you did this how? And can we do that here? So trying to let them know, let the public know, let other people that are interested to know the groundwork has been done. It can be done in your community. You can have this impact on people's lives. This is the steps you take. Mm-hmm. And, we have said all along that it's a God thing, because when we look at it now, it's like there is no way that we did this on our own. Just no way.
Yeah. It is hard to tell people how you did it, because it just happened so organically. It's like, how do you explain this to somebody that doesn't get it?
Well, and I don't try to.
Yeah.
I mean, from day one, I did something that I didn't really even want to do. It was I just kind of said, okay, God, I think this is you. I'll take that next step. And frankly, that's been the entire organization. Yeah. And I cannot claim some brilliant master plan. I have learned as I've gone. I can remember early days. The addicts would look at me and go, well, you're not an addict. You can't teach me anything, sort of a thing. But within a few years, it was kind of like, are you sure you're not an addict? You have to be an addict. How are you understanding what I'm going through? How are you speaking to me like this? And so somewhere in there, that's when you begin to know that it's like, okay, God is in this, and He's working it out.
Well, it's been fun for me to watch. I've watched it since the beginning to see the ministry grow and change, and been able to go to a graduation we went to last year we went?
Last year.
And then you had way more people than you expected, and so you ran out of food, and it was kind of a thing, but it was so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
makes you so proud of the folks that are putting in the hard work, and to hear their stories about where they came from and where they are now. Just amazing. So round of applause for David, and thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
We want to tell people that if you want to leave a review, or as always, if you have any topics for discussion, you have any ideas for guests to come on, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah. You can reach us at McPhersonHousingCoalition.org. There's a form you can fill out.
And thank you for joining us on Housing for Good.